You're watching Court TV Live. I'm Julia Janae, and we are in the state of Tennessee. We're returning to the double murder trial for a former college football star, Blaise Taylor. He is someone that the prosecution says executed a deadly plan to poison his girlfriend and her unborn baby. But the defense says that the state's case is built on circumstantial evidence, and they point to the victim's drug use, because what is at stake here, or at issue, is an overdose from cocaine, ultimately killing this victim and her child. Let's get you back into the courtroom now. We wanted to make sure that you watched this really important testimony from someone who saw the victim and the defendant not too long before 911 was called. This is Keontae Jones. He is the boyfriend of the best friend of the victim, and he's now on redirect by the prosecution.
Sir, April 2023, was that when the defendant's investigator came to your residence?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any advance notice that someone was coming to interview you?
Not at all. I was woken up out of my sleep.
And did this person identify themselves? Do you recall who it was?
If they did, they didn't make themselves clear as to who they were, just that they were an investigator of part of this case.
Now, as the police investigation moved along, have you not only been interviewed but spoken with the prosecutors on several occasions?
Yes, sir. As far as yes.
In preparation for
this case
trial?
Yes, sir.
And this being very shortly after this being passed, was that something you were focusing on?
At the time, no. I was probably more so focused on school and, things of that nature.
Is this, you describe hearing both Mr. Taylor and Ms. Jackson as panic. You use that word. Their voices, the tenor of their voices.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a difference between the two types of panic?
There was a difference. Miss Jackson's, like as I stated, was more so of like a frantic, worried panic, and I don't know what language I'm allowed to use in here, but Mr. Taylor's was more.
Those are my questions, John.
Any other questions?
Sure. Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
That description that you just gave while the state was on redirect, have you ever stated that before at any time to anyone?
Yes.
Did you state that to the investigator when he spoke to you on April 30th?
I don't know if that question was even asked in that investigative conversation.
Do you not remember?
As I already stated, that was about 2.5 years ago, so no, I don't recall.
And would, if given the opportunity to review a transcript of that conversation, would that refresh your memory and aid your testimony here today?
I think it would. Can I ask, sir, where would you like me to be reading, or should I read the whole thing?
Take a moment. Read all of it.
Can I ask, is there a specific place that you want me to read? I've read over it, but nothing, I'm not getting where this is leading.
It's not for you to get where it's leading, sir. Did you read all of it?
I mean, we would be here a while if I read all of it.
It's worth it. Please take your time, familiarize yourself with it.
Okay, I think I've seen enough.
Did you read all of it, sir?
I didn't.
Would you read all of it, please?
Okay, just read whatever page, last page. You did review. Okay, now what's your question?
So, Mr. Jones, the description you gave that Mr. Taylor was at any time.
Yes.
When?
When I met with the DA.
When was that?
First time I probably gave that testimony was back in February.
Of this year?
Yes.
Okay. And did you talk to Detective Reese on February 28th of 2023 by phone?
I don't know who Detective Reese is.
So if he said he spoke to you, you don't recall that?
Is that who this person is?
No, sir.
I don't know who Detective Reese is.
Thank you. No further questions.
Any other questions?
Just you, Mr. Jones, having read this transcript, did you see anywhere in there where you were asked the question to describe or asked to describe the panic that you testified here today? Were you ever asked that?
I don't see that question presented in this document.
All right. But we asked you, didn't we?
Yes, sir.
That's all.
Any other questions?
Mr. Jones, you understood that the purpose of that visit was to get information about what happened and what information you may have had as it related to Jade Benton, correct?
Sure. Yeah, I guess.
No further questions, John.
And Mr. Jones, when did you realize that that person who came and got this information from you was working for Mr. Taylor?
After I had already had this conversation and given them the information they requested.
That's all.
Any other questions?
No questions from Ms. Wintershaw.
Thank you.
And that's it for key witness Keontae Jones there inside of the Nashville courtroom. Let's bring back in our litigation and law enforcement expert, Sonny Slaughter. Sonny, you heard there the debated moment came out in court. This is what the defense didn't want to come out. They didn't want this comparison between how the best friend reacted to how this witness says Blaise Taylor reacted. And we know the sound probably got dropped because of the profanity, but he essentially said that Taylor had this demeanor of, oh blank, I just blanked up. You think the testimony, though, took a turn here. Tell me why.
So I think the testimony took a turn when he was asked about an alleged, and I'm going to say alleged because they didn't add any other substance to it, an alleged criminal conviction or incident regarding Ohio. Then it became a little contentious. His demeanor changed, and you could see the irritation. But that is what the defense's job is. That is what they do. And that's where this additional language, and we actually heard it on this side, the actual word and everything. So I think that's where the problem came in. And once again, that was not eyewitness testimony. This was something that I don't think he said he saw it, but you know how he felt about it. But that's just his opinion. Those are not facts. And he also, even though the question may not have been asked of the prosecution, he did not allege that in any of the statements that were written by in his testimony, in his previous testimony, and in his statements.
Yeah, I would agree that things may have taken a turn there. He did seem a little bit resistant after they mentioned that, but the actual phrase that he used, he even said, I don't know what words I can use here in the courtroom, and then he said them. We know the defense said that this violated Rules of Evidence 403, that it was prejudicial and it was highly unreliable because, as you mentioned, it's more his feeling, but it came out. There was no objection. The judge didn't block it, so this is part of the body body of evidence for these jurors. Let's talk about another key part of this case. We're still waiting for more about the toxicology. The defense said this was cocaine mixed with fentanyl. The prosecution says this was more cocaine than would be for recreational use. I know you've had experience on drug-related cases. Are there things that stand out about this, or things that make you go,
Yes, everything stands out about this. If it is alleged that this was so much in her system, in my background, former DHS drug task force supervisor, I've worked on drug cases, and even with HSS as the drug person for the region, the National Drug Opioid Caucus leader. Let me tell you something. If this is what they are saying has happened, then it couldn't come from the sips of the drink that she had several hours prior that she was drinking, and that she's saying it just doesn't make sense. So the toxicology and the evidence really has to line up. We're going to have to see them show that he bought this, where he got it from, how he had it, and whether she had prior drug use, that they can tie in on the defense side to say this was something that she gave herself or someone else gave her. But I'm not seeing the tie-in yet.
Oh, yeah. How else did it get in her system? Hopefully some of these witnesses can share more light for these jurors. We got to get to a break, Sonny. Thank you so much for your analysis. When we come back, we're going to go in and listen to more testimony there in Nashville, Tennessee, including an OBGYN, a medical expert, who's going to talk about the viability of the unborn child.